Okay, so you are ready to begin pre-production for your video project. So let's talk about what is pre-production, how do you get graded on pre-production, and I'll show you an example of an A+ pre-production so that you can use that as an example as you move forward with your own project. First, let's take a look at our pre-production worksheet. You'll be completing pre-production for every single video project you do in this class. It is important that we have a plan before we ever begin picking up a camera or opening the editing software on our computer. So we do this through our pre-production worksheet. On your pre-production worksheet, you can see that there are several components. First is the project pre-planning. Then we have the project concept and schedule. Then on the back of the page, we have the 2-column script. These are your 3 essential elements of pre-production. So let's go through each one together. First, we have project pre-planning. In project pre-planning, you're basically coming up with the basics, the minimal information about who's going to be working on your project and what you're going to need for that project. So as you can see in the first box, we have shooter and editor. Who is a shooter? Who's the editor? For projects in this class, you are going to be working with a partner or individually on projects, and you and your partner will both act as the shooter and editor, sharing responsibilities equally. So go ahead and put your name and your partner's name in this box. If you're working individually on this project, you would just put your name as both the shooter and the editor. But we don't really have defined roles when we're looking at the video projects that you'll be completing in ADTF 1. Once you move up to level 2 or level 3, you might just be the shooter on a project or you are just the editor. But for now, you're sharing roles equally. Next, what is your project title? What video are you working on and how do you want to name it? The next box you see are going to be the behind the scenes crew members. For that, that's you. This is your video project. You and your partner or you by yourself. You are working behind the scenes. So that means you are behind the camera shooting or you are behind the computer editing. So either one of those makes you a behind the scenes crew member. Next are your on-camera cast members. Now, this does not have to be you or your partner. This is going to be somebody else who's going to be the actor or the actors in your video. For example, if I am partners with Miss Kincaid for a video project, we are both listed under shooter and editor. I would write Miss Miller and Miss Kincaid. We would also both be behind the scenes crew members because we are both working to shoot and edit the video. So under behind the scenes, I would write Miss Miller, Miss Kincaid. For on-cast crew members, let's say for our video, Miss Kincaid is going to be on camera for some of our shots, and then we're also going to have Miss Sinclair be in our video as well. For on camera, I would put Miss Kincaid and Miss Sinclair because they would both appear on camera at some point during my video. Next, let's talk about shooting locations. Do not write Shaw High School here. I know you were shooting at Shaw High School. Tell me specifically where you plan to shoot. Whether that's the English Hall or maybe in the back parking lot by the tree, in the bus loop, wherever it is that you need to go to be able to shoot the video that you need. Remember, for our very first project, the composition video project, you are not allowed to check out equipment before school, after school, or on the weekends. We are only shooting during class time for that very first video project. You have to prove to me that you can be responsible during class before you're allowed to take the cameras outside of school time. Also, going outside of the classroom is a privilege. If you abuse that privilege, you will end up having to shoot your entire video inside the classroom, and nobody wants to do that. That's going to be boring. Your next box you see here is camera and audio equipment needed. So think about what kind of equipment you need to make this video. Definitely a camera, a tripod plate, a battery, an SD card, headphones. Think about everything you need. The last box, this is the one a lot of students leave empty. Do not leave this box empty. That's the easiest way to lose points on this pre-production. What other equipment or props do you need for this video? You always need some kind of video equipment or props. Does your subject need to be carrying a cell phone in the hallway? If so, then that cell phone is a prop. So write cell phone here. Are they putting a book bag in a locker? If so, you need a book bag. Think very carefully through your video and all of the props you need. This is going to be your reminder to make sure you're bringing those props with you to class on the days that you are shooting. So that's project pre-planning. Let's move on to project concept and schedule. In this box, you are going to just read the instructions. I want this box to be a snapshot of what your video is going to be. I should be able to look in this box without reading the rest of your pre-production and know your project concept. What's the beginning? What's the middle? What's the end? What's the story here? You could draw pictures like a comic book cartoon. You could do some brainstorming or doodling here as long as I can tell what the video project's going to be about. You could write full sentences, like in paragraph form, what your project is going to be about. That's up to you and however you think creatively or brainstorm. But this box should be filled up with information explaining what your project is about. Next, we have a schedule. To me, this is the most important box, the most important section on this front page of pre-production, because you are working independently or with your partner to make a video by the deadline. The teacher is not going to be micromanaging you or looking over your shoulder the entire time to make sure you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You have to be responsible. So you're going to make sure that you take this schedule seriously as you go through these project days. So make sure you're planning your schedule accordingly in a way that makes sense, in a way that fits what you're trying to accomplish for your video. Remember, for our composition video project, you are having a 4-day shooting schedule and a 4-day editing schedule. So pay attention to the schedule that you receive from the sub and make sure that you are filling it out accordingly to meet that deadline. So for the 2-column script, you see it's divided into a video column and an audio column. In these 2 columns, you're going to line up the video and the audio for each shot in chronological order. So I want you to write on the left-hand side, what is the first thing I'm going to see in your video? And make sure you label that shot, just like how we learned we label shots for this composition project. Then on the right side, I want you to write, what am I going to hear while that shot is playing? So, for example, if the first thing you're going to see is a long shot of little Johnny walking down the hallway to his locker, write that. Then on the audio side, maybe he's not talking, but you might put, we're going to hear background noise of people in the hallway having conversations or lockers slamming. So you always have audio to go along with your video. Then you would move on to the next shot. What's the next thing I'm going to see? Maybe a medium shot of little Johnny reaching to open his locker. And then what's the audio that would go with that? And you're going to do the same thing as you go down the list, adding in from your audio and video. So the best way for you to understand pre-production is to take a look at an example. So here we go. This is an example of an A pre-production. As you can see in the project pre-planning, every section has been filled out. So we have the shooters and editors, the project title, the behind-the-scenes crew members, the on-camera crew members, the shooting locations, all the camera equipment that they're going to need, as well as the other equipment and props that they need. So you can see they really thought through who's going to be doing what and what they're going to need as they begin this project. In the project concept box, you can see it is not as much as you guys will be filling out. The reason for that is this pre-production is taken from a film scene recreation project that we do in level 3. So the students here are recreating a video or a scene from a movie. The movie here is Pitch Perfect, and it's the Cup Song audition that they do in their auditorium. So they included a link to the video here to show you this is exactly what we're doing, and we're recreating that shot for shot. And they explained it here in paragraph or sentence form. Here's their schedule. Their schedule was a little bit shorter than what yours are going to look like in this class. And again, that's because they were in a higher level class when they made this. But you can see they're very specific about what they're doing. They did not write shoot Monday, shoot Tuesday, shoot Wednesday, edit Thursday, edit Friday. Instead, they included notes and what they were going to be shooting, what they were going to be editing. So they were very specific here, and that's what I'm looking for from you. You can't put 1 or 2 words in the schedule and expect to get full credit. You've got to explain to me exactly what you're going to be doing that day. So you can see they put begin pre-production, make sure we watch the YouTube video for clarity to understand all the scenes. We're going to finish that pre-production on Tuesday and turn it in by the end of class. On Wednesday, we're just going to do song rehearsal. We don't want to start shooting yet. We want to make sure everything's good to go. So I got to print those lyrics and make sure I have my actors ready for that song rehearsal. Thursday, I'm going to shoot everything. I'm going to get it done in one day. And again, they're a higher level class, so they might be able to do that, whereas you're probably going to need your full 4 days to shoot your video. So on Thursday, they will shoot every shot. They're going to make sure they reserve the auditorium ahead of time and that all members are available for this one day to get it done. Friday, they'll edit. They're going to create their project, import their videos, and they even put a little note to not forget their headphones. The next Monday, they're going to edit the videos and trim the clips, put all the transitions in on Tuesday, and Wednesday they will export and turn it into the share drive. So this is what I'm looking for from you guys as you begin to make your schedule. Think through exactly what you need to do each day to get it turned in on time. Okay, finally, let's take a look at this 2-column script. You can see every shot is labeled, and it is also comes with a good description of what's going to be happening. Then we see the audio lined up nice and neat on the right side corresponding with the video. So the very first thing I'm going to see when this video starts is a knee shot of Naish at the side of the stage looking in. Then we'll cut to a 2 shot of the girls at the desk noticing Naish. One of them is going to say, oh wait, there's one more. An extreme long shot, the auditorium stage, the girls on the left and Naish in the middle. And she's going to say hi, and there's sound effects in the background of just people talking. So you can see how very detailed this is, how organized it is, and it's very easy to read and understand. You're basically taking your video and putting it in text format before you go shoot or before you go edit. So you should have the entire video planned out before you ever pick up a camera, before you ever open Premiere on your computer, to make sure that you are ready to go and you have a plan. So the example pre-production is going to be available for you, and copies of the blank pre-production are also going to be available so that you can get started on your own. Really quickly, before you get started on pre-production, I want you to go ahead and take a look at the rubric, how you're getting graded. I talked about this as I went through it a little bit. The first is project pre-planning. Your pre-production should be very detailed, and you should not leave anything blank. I want to see all the props, all the people involved, all the shooting locations. The audio column, your project script, should cover every plot point. It should have detailed either interview questions or script for all of your characters. So don't write Johnny talking about his locker. No. Tell me, what is Johnny saying? So add those quotation marks in there and write out your actual script for Johnny. Your shot sheet is your video column on your 2-column script. It should describe all the shots needed and include technical creative notes. Each shot should be labeled, and it should be very descriptive. So instead of long shot of the hallway, how can you make that more descriptive? Long shot, Sally walking down the hallway on the left side with her backpack. That is much more descriptive and easier to understand. Next up is your schedule. It should have all the days with the description of the work that you're going to do, lists of materials needed, and creative notes. Don't write 1 or 2 words in each box. Make sure you're very detailed here. Finally, your 2-column script should be organized. Just like the example we saw, I should be able to clearly match your audio with your video and have a nice overview of what your final video will look like. And then finally, you're graded on your deadline, so turning in this pre-production either early or on time. At this time, if you have any questions, please direct them to Ms. Masters. She's going to have rubrics for you. She'll have the example pre-production if you need to take another look at it, as well as the blank pre-productions for you guys to get started. Good luck on your first video project. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with.